Welcome everyone. Sorry for the echo. Welcome everyone. We'll start our webinar in a couple of minutes. Good morning participants and esteemed experts in the IMDS field. I extend a warm welcome to each of you to our exploring the new features of the latest IMDS 14.1 release webinar, which is happening today. Myself Pavitra, APS Compliance Team Webinar Organizer, and I'm thrilled to have you join us as we embark on a journey to delve into the latest and most exciting features of the IMDS 14.1 release. I'm eager to walk you through the next few minutes. So before we dive in, a little bit of housekeeping here. I would like to inform everyone, except for our esteemed speakers, that attendees' microphones be muted during the duration of this webinar. This will help us maintain a focused environment and ensure that we can deliver a seamless presentation. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that this session is being recorded so we can understand the value of the information we are about to share, and we want to make sure you have the opportunity to revisit it in the future. So rest is assured, the recording along with the presentation will be shared with all the attendees from APA team. Also, we have prepared a survey that will encourage us to provide the best for our participants in our upcoming webinars. So requesting you all to spend a couple of minutes once the webinar is concluded. Throughout our presentation, we encourage your active engagement. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to use the comments section of the webinar platform. We will do our best to address as many questions as time permits at the end of the session. In case we can't cover everything, please be assured that we will follow up with you after the webinar to provide the answers you seek. Next slide, please. Now let me introduce our IMDS experts who will be guiding us through the exciting features of the IMDS 14.1 release. Please join me in welcoming our speakers Mahalakshmi and Arun, our IMDS experts who bring a wealth of knowledge and insights to this webinar. Let's take a moment to preview our agenda. So we will start by providing an overview of the enhancements introduced in the IMDS 14.1 release, which we will highlighting the key changes that promise to elevate our IMDS experience. So following that, we will delve into the enhancements in greater detail as well. Finally, we will reserve time, as mentioned earlier, we will reserve time for your questions and answers, allowing you to gain a deeper understanding of the topics we cover today. Next slide, please. And now I'm thrilled to take a moment to introduce ourselves. We at AP Engineering are not just a company. We are a hub of expertise, innovation, and solutions that cater to a range of needs across various domains, And our comprehensive services encompass a spectrum of areas, allowing us to provide holistic solutions that address your specific requirements from compliance, engineering, IT, and sourcing. So we have cultivated proficiency in each realm. In the realm of compliance, we ensure that your projects adhere to the most stringent regulations and standards. So, guiding you through a landscape that can often be complex and ever changing, our commitment to compliance guarantees your projects not only meet the necessary criteria but are on top of the regulation updates. So, when it comes to engineering, our team of skilled professionals brings concept to life. We work collaboratively with you to design, create, and innovate, ensuring that your ideas evolve into tangible and impactful solutions. The IT, which is a cataloging division of our services, will streamline processes, enhance efficiency, and empower you to navigate the digital age with confidence. Lastly, our sourcing. So, in our sourcing services, allow you to tap into a vast network of resources. We connect you with the right partners, suppliers, and materials, ensuring that your projects have the necessary support to thrive. Next slide. So here at compliance division, we cover all the regulations across the globe, as you can see here. SCIP, IMDS, and ADA, conflict minerals, REACH, ROS, California Prop 65, battery regulations, ESG, medical regulations, SDS, PFOS compliance, persistent organic pollutants, EU MDR, SDS, packaging regulations, and much more. And it's time for a quick poll, requesting all to respond to the poll for us to understand you better. Thank you for your response. Now, without further ado, I would like to hand over to our speaker Arun to explore IMDS 14.1's new features.
Thank you, Pavitra, for a great start and inputs about APA. Hello all, this is Arun Prabha, IMDS expert from APA Engineering. Let's explore the new features after IMDS 14.1 release. First, we can start with an overview of enhancement in new IMDS release of 14.1. The enhancement in IMDS 14.1 release contain three major changes. There are functional changes, check changes, and master data changes. So in this, functional changes contain rejection reason in inbox and outbox search result and export. Search for SCIP material category by ID. Default selection of organizational unit in new MDS. In check changes contain no error when sending of MDS with default contact, error for inactive application codes, error for editable reference to hidden data, and finally in master data changes contain split application code of 5B, rename application code of 8FA and 8FB. Let's see all the new enhancement in detail. The very first one is a rejection reason in inbox and outbox search result and export. So after IMDS release of 14.1, we may see the rejection reason of the parts whose status is rejected and modified in MDS, which will be displayed in both inbox and the outbox search results with a limit of 50 characters if the rejection reasons are too lengthy. Also, the complete rejection reason will be available in a generated file if we export the search result in an Excel file by using the export option. Let's make it clear by seeing examples. So before IMDS release of 14.1, we could see the search result field as like this. So after IMDS release of 14.1, we can see an additional column added named as reason for denial. So in this field, we can find the rejection reason of those rejected parts. So as I said before, in this field, the reason contains up to 50 limits of characters. So also, if we put a cursor in a particular part of rejection reason, that will show a complete rejection reason in a pop-up way. Also, as I said before, we can also make use of export option. So by using that, we can export the search result in an Excel file. In that, we could find a detailed rejection reason. Let's move on to second enhancement. So in this, we could find a search for SCIP material category by ID. This is a new search parameter is added to the dialog to add a SCIP material category to a material. This parameter will actually allow us to search a category directly by using identifier ID, as same as tariff code search parameter works by adding SCIP article category to the components. Let's make it clear by seeing an example. So before IMDS release of 14.1, in the SCIP material category, while clicking this plus icon, we will get into this dialog. So in this dialog box, we could find a multiple search parameter. The type, description level 1, description level 2. So by entering all these search parameters only, we will get a exact material category with respect to our required material. But after release of 14.1, while we click on this plus icon, we will get into this catalog. In this, we could find a new search parameter, which indicated as identifier. So if we know the exact identifier ID means, we just enter that ID in this field. So by just in one click, we will get a exact material category with respect to our respective material. So without entering these following parameters, we will get the exact material category which we require. Let's move on to third one. In this, we could find the default selection of organization unit in new MDS. So after IMDS release of 14.1, whenever a user sends, propose, publish, or release an MDS link, the organization unit will be assigned in a supply data tab and it will be stored as user default organization unit. After that, if the same user creates a new MDS, that default organization unit will be pre-selected automatically based on our latest previous submission. In other case, if a user has not yet sent, proposed, published, or released an MDS, but after IMDS release, if that organization unit is no longer assigned or it may delete in the meantime. So at that time, the root company will be pre-selected automatically and saved as a default selection. So if an MDS assigned to send, propose, publish, or release means the default selection will be followed. Let's make it clear with more examples. So after IMDS release of 14.1, here you can find a latest submission which I made with this organization unit. So after this, I have created a new data sheet. So in this data sheet also, you can find the same organization unit, which is pre-selected automatically. Even though it is automatically selected, if we need to submit under different organization unit means, we can change it by manually. Also, I need to clarify one more thing. This new enhancement is only belongs to for new data sheet, not for a copied data sheet. Because if we are copying from an existing MDS means, that copied version will contain always a existing MDS info only. So this enhancement is fully belongs to a new data sheet. Let's move on to fourth one. So in this enhancement, we could find a no error when sending of MDS with the default contact. So after IMDS release of 14.1, there will be no more error message will be shown for MDS with an assigned deactivated contact person if an active default contact person is available. So the older MDS itself can be submitted to our customers with no longer active contact person instead of creating a new version. Let's get it clear by seeing example. So before MDS release of 14.1, here you can see the existing MDS which created with the inactive application code. That may creates an error. But after the 14.1 release, there will be no error. So we can just make our MDS submission with our existing MDS itself without taking a new version. I just add one more point in this. In such case, if a user doesn't select a default contact, means at that time, even though after release of IMS 14.1, it will show an error because the user doesn't select a default contact. So at that time, we have no other option. We need to take a new version and then make MDS submission. Time for a quick poll. Thank you all for your valuable inputs. From here, I request Mahalakshmi to take over and explain about the remaining enhancement.
Thank you, Arun. Can you please give me control?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very good morning, everyone. So myself, Mahalakshmi, IMDS expert from AP Engineering. So without further delay, let's see the details of the remaining enhancements. So the fifth one is error for inactive application codes. So the before IMDS release 14.1, it was shown as warning if the MDS has inactivated application code for both direct reference and used within referenced MDS. Whereas after IMDS release 14.1, the warning message about the inactivated application code is turned into the error to prevent the continued use of deactivated application codes. Because with this error, the MDS cannot be released or submitted. To overcome this error, a new version must be created and the affected reference must be replaced with the appropriate data. So let's see an example. So, sorry. Yeah. The same example has been taken before IMDS release 14.1 and after the release. So as you see, the application ID 16, which is already inactivated one. So the before IMDS release 14.1, it was showing the warning. But after the IMDS release 14.1, the message wise the same, but the result type is turned into warning to error. So which means with this error, the MDS cannot be submitted or released. So for that, to overcome this, we need to take a, we need to replace with the appropriate data. Yeah. The sixth one is error for editable references to hidden data. So this is the new feature added in IMDS. With this enhancement, The new error will occur if the hidden data, such as hidden substance, hidden standard MDS, or hidden application IDs, are added as a direct reference in editable MDS. In such a case, hidden data must be replaced with the appropriate data before releasing the MDS. Since hidden data cannot be found and referenced in a new MDS or new module, this enhancement will affect only if a new version is taken from the existing MDS or a module, which referencing such data. And if the hidden data is referenced inside referenced MDS or inside released MDS, there will be no error and there will be a no warning. And there is an important note, there is no change to deactivated data such as deactivated substance, deactivated standard MDS, or deactivated application code, as references those in editable MDS is already showing an error message. So let's see an example. So this is the material contains the hidden application code 74. The 74 is become hidden with this IMDS release 14.1. So as of now, the application ID 74 is a hidden one. So this material is referencing the application code 74, and this material has been is a direct reference for this component. So since it is a direct reference, we are getting this error, like the material contains a hidden application code. So with this error, we cannot submit the data or release the data. So to overcome this, we need to change this application code with the appropriate one. So the seventh one is application code 5, split application ID code 5B. To comply with the latest version of ELV Annex 2, the application code 5B is split into two new application codes named as 5B1 and 5B2. Since the existing application code 5B is hidden, the two new codes are added as given below. So as you can see, the application code 5B can be identified as application ID 74, which is hidden with this enhancement. So to tackle this, the two new IDs are added, like 5B1, which is denoted by the application ID 85, and 5B2, which can be identified as application ID 86. And then both the new application codes are applicable to the same substances and classifications as we deal with the before IMDS release 14.1. So as you see, before IMDS release 14.1, the application code 5B, that is nothing but the application ID 74, was active. And now after IMDS release 14.1, the application code 5B, which is the application ID 74, is become hidden. And these are the new codes added now, the 5B1 and 5B2, and those application IDs are 85 and 86 respectively. So they have become active now. So last but not least, rename application code 8FA and 8FB. To comply with the latest version of ELV Annex 2, the application code 8FA and 8FB is renamed to contain the new identifier as given below. So there is only the application code name only. So there will be a no update or change in the application IDs. So as you can see, this is the old name 8FA, lead in compliant pin connector systems, and this is the new one. Just the new identifier has been added with the existing one, like 8FA/8F1, and the same thing. So 8FB is changed to 8FB/8F2. The application ID is 68. So here the application IDs remain the same. Since only the application codes are renamed with this enhancement, there will be no significant impact on our daily task. So the new name will automatically be visible for all the all use of these application codes. So there is no further action is required. So as you see, this is how the application IDs 67 and 68 was used before IMDS release 14.1, and after IMDS release 14.1, we can see the application ID 71 and 67 and 68 can be viewed as 8FA/8F1 and 8FA/8F2. So there is only a application code names change. So now we are almost at the end of the session. So if you have any queries, please let us know in the comment section. So we have a question from attendees. If split of application ID 5B will impact on our daily task since it is hidden? The answer is it depends on where it is referenced. Anyway, in future, you may receive the data with application ID 74 will be reduced because in a supplier point of view, if they are using the application ID as a direct reference, anyway, they will get a error. So the user cannot submit the data with that, and if it is used within reference MDS, you will need to work with your supplier to get a resubmission. And also, if you have submitted any of your data with that application ID 74 to your customers, they may ask you to resubmit the data with their requirement. So you may need to work on that. So we have one more question. What will show error or warning if the supplier data has a hidden data? Nothing will be shown actually, because after 14.1 release, if you receive a data with this hidden data from your supplier, means it must have been used within the referenced MDS. Because if they are referencing as a direct MDS, they will not they cannot submit the data to you. So obviously that is a referenced MDS, so there will be no error or no warning. There is one more question from the audience regarding no error when sending of MDS with the default contact. If there is no default contact has been assigned for the particular organization ID, what will happen? Arun, I think you can answer for that.
Yeah, sure. If the default contact has not yet selected, means it will be still shown an error only if that MDS is released means. So at that time we have no other option. We need to create a new version, then proceed with our MDS submission.
Okay, thank you. And the next question, default selection of organization unit update the organization unit will be pre-selected automatically, whether it is for new data sheet or for copy data sheet. I think
Yes,
Arun,
as
you
I
can.
yeah, sure. As I explained before, that default selection of organization will be pre-select based on our previous MDS submission, and that too only for a new data sheet, not for a copied one. So if a copied data sheet means that will carry out our existing MDS information only. This enhancement will not reflect on this copied one.
Okay, let's wait for a few more seconds. Yes, we have got a question. I think that would be a final one. How will the system work if the deactivated data is used within reference to MDS in the received supplier data? Yeah, if the deactivated data is application code, especially, that will show an error as per this enhancement. In case if the deactivated data is a deactivated substance means we'll get a warning, not an error. Okay, hope there is no more questions from the audience. So I think this is the time to thank you all. So thank you everyone for your participation, and we hope the session was very useful. And yes, yeah, survey shall be initiated before closing the window. So kindly fill them to help us to improve in our upcoming webinars. And if you have any queries regarding this session, or if you are interested on our services that we provide, please reach us at compliance@apaengineering.com so that we will revert back on your queries. Thank you all once again. Have a great day.
Thank you all.